Here we are another week on the Dojo Media Show. I'm Logan and this is Raphael. We are Dojo Media Co. And today we're joined by Maddie and Kris and Maddie of Flux Entertainment. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for coming such a long way, wasn't it? 2-hour drive was it today to get here? Or
a little bit longer.
Were you guys based Sunny Coast, Hinterland, is it?
Sunny Coast, Hinterland, Mary Valley, Kenilworth.
Beautiful.
Thriving metropolis of Kenilworth.
Yeah.
Yes.
But look, I feel like I could probably butcher it and not do it justice. Describe a little bit for us what Flux Entertainment is and what kind of stuff you do for your work.
So Flux Entertainment is our business and we specialise in fire and pyrotechnics shows. Our slogan is entertainment that pushes boundaries, so we like to do things big.
And big being like, do you know specifically if you do like something bigger than other? Because I've seen your stuff, like for people that don't know, you've been on Australia's Got Talent. You've done music videos with us specifically, and
7
like,
years.
yeah, your pyrotechnics are a lot bigger than other ones I've seen. Is that true? Like, do you know if you're the biggest or
Nationally?
Well, currently we're the only people in Australia offering this kind of show where we dance with fireworks. That is because to be able to do it, you have to get in Australia at least, you have to get a pyrotechnics license. And there's a lot involved. So there have been people who have done it before us, but right now we're the only people doing this kind of show.
So yeah, we had to jump through a bit of red tape to kind of be able to do the things that we're doing. And every time we do a show, there's still a lot of red tape that we need to jump through to be able to do a show. But yeah, I mean, also I think another thing that we have in our favour is, I guess, we use sort of long duration product. So we can create these shows that go for a really, we can do a 10-minute show basically where there's no naked flame at all and we're just dancing with fireworks like the whole time.
Yeah.
And as for fire, we just love big fire.
We love big
I
fire.
personally, it's my favourite thing
Keeps
ever.
you nice and warm.
It's just the best feeling.
Yeah, Maddie loves the big fire.
Yeah, I'm
Why
more
is
the
that?
fire.
Is that
I'm
the
more
adrenaline?
It just feels so... Well, it's an element, and it just feels so earthy and primal and powerful. Just, I don't know, when you're just welding big flames around you, I just love it. And that's what got me into all of this kind of stuff, was learning flow arts and then working my way up to fire. So I'm more of the fire bug, and Kris is more of a pyro nerd.
Yeah,
But
I really like the
love
bigger...
both.
I enjoy the roar and the intensity of like letting off fireworks and spinning fireworks around. Like I mean, fire is amazing.
It works
What's
well.
the actual
Obviously.
difference? So I know, like for the music video we did, you had like a whip that was on fire. Is it that kind of stuff? Like a flamethrower? Is that more pyro? And
So that's fire dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, whereas our pyrotechnic stuff is where we have these props sitting behind us and we attach fireworks that are about this big each. We attach fireworks to the ends of the props. It's quite a process, and then we need to wire them in, and then we press a button on our props which sets off the
It's
fireworks.
It's all electrical.
Yeah, and they go for 60 seconds, and that's that prop done.
It's just like scary to hear. It's like,
Yeah.
Do you ever think something could go wrong, or do you just know it inside out?
We've also had we've had to put a lot of these pieces together ourselves. Discovering this world, I guess, and working out through our own.
That's what I was going to ask. If no one
development.
else is really doing it in Australia, who do you have to learn from?
We've got pyro mentors, I suppose, and
we were originally inspired by, I forget his name.
So there's a fella in the UK called Oscar, and he
Just one name,
Just-
Oscar.
Yeah, so we'd been doing
Like
fire
Madonna.
for quite a while, and we'd always been interested in like larger effects and bigger effects and all that kind of stuff. And just one day we were on Instagram and we scrolled across this video because I was following him, and just saw this amazing spark effect and was like, "Whoa, what is that?" Then just contacted him. Was like,
We didn't even know what we were looking at.
Didn't even know what
when
we were looking
first
at.
saw
We're
it.
trying
We
to
were like,
we're trying to analyze it and go
Yeah.
like, what is that? So yeah, had a chat with him, and he's like, look, this is what it is. It's actually fireworks. Overseas though, in Europe and the UK and stuff like that, it's actually rather unregulated. So they can essentially, without licenses, go and buy them and strap them onto their gear and spin them around, but they're limited with what they can use.
Is Australia one of the more strict countries? Because as I was telling you
strictest.
before, I'm born in New Zealand. They
Yeah.
have like Guy Fawkes Day where you can literally
Yeah.
just go to the supermarket, buy fireworks, and just like set them off in your
I
backyard.
find that so crazy.
We're the strictest. Yeah, we're the strictest,
it's
which is
very regulated.
Yeah, we're the strictest, and Queensland is the strictest state in the
Oh, no.
strictest country,
Yeah.
and that's where we decided to try
Yeah,
to get
nice.
our
Is that 'cause you like the
licenses. Yeah,
We
so,
almost put it in the too hard basket, and we're
Yeah.
so glad
Yeah.
that we didn't.
yeah, there's so much involved in getting to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took us a lot of work to get where we are
Yeah.
with
I mean,
all that.
yeah. What's
thing.
the catalyst to think this is a career path or this is something to do? And like also for people that don't know, you guys are a couple as well, recently engaged. So where did you were you guys a thing first, and you discovered this passion together, or you were both into it, found each other? Like I want to know both of it from both of your sides, like where it all began.
We were both flow artists and fire dancers and fire performers before we met. And yeah, we kind of met through the fire scene in a way and through fire, and connected, and both had this dream to like really pursue and push fire performing and do something really special, because it's like, you know, what set our hearts on fire, and it's what we're really passionate about, and to live a life doing what you're passionate about every day and just living a creative life is something that we both really wanted to do. So we started putting fire shows together and putting partner choreographies together, just in our backyard, and started putting shows together and applying for festivals and events, and yeah, and then Flux was born. And then we've been doing the fireworks, pyrotechnics stuff for just over the last 2 years now.
Late 2021, I think it was. So what's that?
Blown up pretty quickly.
Not too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
How
or
did you come
something
up with that
since
name, Flux?
Flow.
Flux means flow.
Influx.
Yeah,
Flow.
Flux means flow, and the
Yeah.
art form that we're doing is the
Yeah.
art form is called flow arts.
Yeah.
And flow arts is object manipulation. So you have your props and you learn tricks and enter flow state, and it's like you learn the tricks are very geometrical, and yeah, the art form is called flow art.
Can you explain more about like getting into that flow state? What that means to you?
To get so there's learning
when,
the skill.
You know when
or-
you're dancing
Yeah.
and you're just
No.
like,
Not for
He's like, I'm answering for him. We've had podcasts with dancers, and he was like, I want to dance. You've never
when you're
danced.
dancing and you're just lost and you're just like,
yeah.
But
in-
what is it with
in
fire?
a
Like, can
flow
you feel the
state.
fire even? Like, is it at that point where you don't even feel the heat on your skin?
Depends
kind
on
of thing? You
depends on
just-
what you
Yeah.
what size.
Well, I was just
prop
thinking with the
decide to
danger,
use.
you have to be so present. If you get distracted for a second, you could.
And
screw
you're also
something up.
entertaining too, so there's
Yeah.
got to be that element too of like you probably have to try be smiling the whole time. I don't know. Do you try to think about these kinds of
yeah,
things as
crowd
well? Like-
engagement
Yeah.
is a big thing.
So how do
interacting
you
with
how
the
do you
crowd.
stay
Oh, this
present
is a whole
and be in
world,
flow
right?
state?
just so much practice, like
Yeah.
so much practice with. So I personally, well, you would have as well, started learning flow arts, like not even touching fire when I first started, and you just practice on your day props and just spin your props and then eventually work your way up to fire. And I remember how scary it was the first time doing it. And it's the smallest amount of fire, but it's so intimidating. And you just keep practicing with fire, and it just gets more comfortable and feels like second nature. And just have, body awareness and know where your props are going. Just a lot of practice.
Yeah. Yeah,
there,
because
like-
there's also on the performing side of things, there's like flow arts with just object manipulation, spinning something at home, trying to nail some cool tricks and learning the prop and doing whatever, and you've got zero fear of, you know, mistake or what have you. And then there's fire. So you add fire to that, and then there's that element that comes in of like, yeah, we can't burn ourselves now, like, you know, might try these things that I've been working on, but there's still some other things that I could potentially hurt myself with, so I'm going to dial those back and put those away. And then you get into shows and performances, and when you get to shows and performances, it's like any risk of error, you have to try and eliminate
There's no room for
eliminate
error.
it completely, because you're like, I don't want to drop something on a stage, I don't want to burn a stage, I don't want to burn myself, I don't want to,
Then
you know,
someone
make
in the
an
crowd.
error
When they
that
ask for
people
your
can,
emergency
people can
contacts,
see.
you have to give them 10.
And then you've got then from that up from there, then you've got your fireworks spinning, which is like zero room for error.
Yeah.
Completely
Yep.
so then you've basically got to become more and more conservative the higher and higher the risk becomes. Yeah.
But they're both dangerous in their own
different
ways
They're
because they are very different.
They are different.
So how do you market these services? Like what kind of venues or what kind of events, I suppose, you're performing at? So there's like festivals and that kind of thing. And I suppose I'm asking how you market it in the sense of, do people know that it's dangerous coming in and that there's going to be a lot of formalities, or is it such a new, unrecognizable thing that's so cool? People are just like, fuck yeah, we'll have you along anyway. Like, how have you found
Everyone's
getting
different,
into
aren't they?
We
All
do
the
really
events.
have to explain what it is. And the best way that we do that is by definitely sending them a video. So we say,
It's the easiest
we
way.
dance with
Yeah.
fireworks.
just some little like old marketing ladies just like, we're going to have some fire twirlers in.
Yeah.
The video is just like,
But it seems like a lot of the festivals are more alternative and into trying experimenting and having spiritual audience and all that.
But
Yeah.
but we also need to try and reiterate to them that like when you book us, there's going to be a lot of safety documentation, a lot of stuff
That's what I was
that's going
meaning
to
by
have
all
to
the
take
formalities.
place, but we take care of it.
Yeah.
So like we don't want to stress you out. You just give us the answers to some questions that we ask you, and then we'll do the rest. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll
Yeah.
basically just say like exactly what it is, give them heaps of information and supply all the safety documents.
Yeah, the statistics, how many people have hurt themselves.
Surely it's probably not that bad, right? People that are, like you said, it sort of
I've
gets to
never
a certain
heard.
point where you have to do other things before you can even touch fire.
With
so
fire?
people really even hurting
Yeah,
themselves.
with
you know?
fire or the fireworks.
I suppose all of it, but
With
There
I
have
don't know, I've
been
never really heard any horror stories
there
about
have
fire.
been a lot of
there have been
I'm sure it's...
bad. There
I
have
suppose
been,
in the industry, you guys.
there
know.
have been a lot of terrible things that have happened for fire performers. There have been quite a few deaths.
there have been deaths.
Yeah.
I think there's safety is very, very, very important, and amongst professionals and stuff, it's a very like how would you put it?
Is it comparable to doing like motocross or something like that?
There's a standard,
You
I
just-
believe, that
yeah.
people expect you to sort of uphold at a professional level, at least. And it's our
Like if someone's backstage being a dickhead with the fire and stuff, like that's just, I'm sure they're blacklisted from the industry kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, if you get into fire, you just want to make sure that you learn from a professional. So you know what you're doing. So you get all your safety right. You get all your fuels right. You know what fuels are safe and what fuels you should be using, what protocols to take. That's really important. And I was really lucky growing up when I got into it. I had a lot of people around me at the time who were teaching me fire. I was able to learn from a space, and they're all really onto fire safety. So I was able to learn all of that, which is really important.
And in Australia, it's like, I think internationally, I think we're pretty good, right? From an
Not up
international
north.
standpoint, not up north, North Queensland. The further north you go in Australia,
They just
the
don't
more loose they get with their fire safety.
like
But-
God bless North
Shouldn't
Queensland,
they be
but
more concerned with the heat up there?
Oh,
that flavoured
there
around?
are some interesting.
should be.
didn't think about
But
that.
it's funny how different it is. But
Yeah.
the scene in Sydney, very safe. The scene in Melbourne, there's a huge flowouts and fire scene in Melbourne, and circus scene in Melbourne. Super
Melbourne are onto
safe.
it,
In
yeah.
Brisbane, beautiful scene. Everyone's really safe. We all look out for each other, and it's a community, and we try and make sure that like everyone's following the standard, and we're all keeping each other safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And if you see people that sort of don't really, or they're sort of newer and they're not really
You pull
knowing
them
what
up
you know what they're
kindly.
doing. No, sorry, you know
what to
that
tell.
it's not like they're intentionally trying to be dickheads most of the time, and you can
Just-
kind of be
Most
like,
of the
hey,
time.
just so
Yeah.
you know, like you can hurt yourself doing that,
You need to
or
learn.
this will benefit you.
I'd love to know
Mm-hmm.
what reactions you've got when you tried some of these performances for the first time.
Our,
Like,
our-
for audiences that have never seen it before.
when you push the button on pyro sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, our
you-
first pyro
Yeah.
show, Nothing compares to how we felt coming off stage after doing our first ever pyrotechnics show.
Imagine.
It was, we were on such a high. It was so nice. And the audience reaction is everything, really. It's the best performing with an audience that is so
And what
engaging.
are you wanting? Like the gasps, like the or what?
Oh, we've had people tell us, because we've done quite a few opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies for festivals, and a lot of people tell us afterwards that they cried.
Really?
And it's just like, I just can't comprehend that, and it's just a really nice feeling.
I like
you know?
how it's an entertainment that any age can enjoy.
Yeah.
From the youngest kids to the
Yeah.
oldest people can love it.
Kids love it.
Definitely, that, very much so. I've
it's
been
very
at events where
unexpected.
fire twirlers are there and kids are getting like way too close because they just want to be a part of it.
They're always like to me, "Are you gonna eat it? Are you gonna eat the fire?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, no." But
And you've got kids like, she's crazy. She's crazy. Yeah, but also with not fire, but with the pyro, fire is very obviously fire. But when we do the pyro stuff, there will often be people that don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So we've had footage sent to us, or we've found footage online after events and stuff that people have filmed from their phones, and it's like, cool, like we like watching them because we can hear people talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
They're
hear,
like,
and we
"What
hear
is
what they're
going
sort of
on?"
what
Yeah.
they're saying, and they're like,
What is
"What even is it? Like, is it some kind of mini firework or something?" Like they can't really comprehend.
You're like
Yeah.
taking them to a place no one's ever been, no one's ever experienced.
Yeah,
before.
suppose.
it's magic.
I want to take that to how you guys got on Australia's Got Talent, because I've never seen anything. I'm not a massive like watcher of the show or anything, but I've never seen anything quite like that. You know, you sort of see like contemporary dance groups and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do they seek you out? Do you pitch yourself for this kind of thing, or
we get onto that?
We
the
did
journey
it
there?
quite early in our pyrotechnics career. I
think you were like in the process of doing it when we filmed the thing with you. I think you were like,
Did we?
heading to Sydney the next week or something?
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it was aired about 6 months after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You reached out. You saw an ad at your work or something
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
TV,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you were like,
Just go
"We
for
should
it."
do that."
So we
were like,
we
"Oh,
were
let's
trying because
give
we
it
were
a
trying to
go."
sell our fireworks stuff, our dancing with fireworks stuff, but people couldn't wrap their heads around what it was. So when we saw the AGT, because you're saying to people, it's like fire dancing, except instead of fire, we're using fireworks, and they couldn't understand it. So I remember we just saw an AGT casting. Now I'll come up on TV. So we were like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. We'll chuck it in, and we'll see how we go. And we just applied, and then they were like, yeah, come on down. And then they put us on the show and in the commercial.
Yeah,
stuff,
we're in the
which was good.
commercial, which was a really awesome
I've seen that. That was awesome.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like filming such a like chaotic thing in such an organized environment, like having to stop start for the takes and that kind of thing? Like, is it?
Was there
That's got to
even
be
more
wearing
safety
your gear
concerns?
as well.
We had two of our pyrotechnician guys with us for the commercial to help us, because they had to get so many
Yeah.
takes of our props and fast. So they would have us on set, and obviously once we hit the button, it lasts 60 seconds, and then you have to strip all the fireworks and then re-put them on and rewire them, and that's a bit of a process.
Which is, a
Yeah.
process.
So-
So they were at a trestle table just...
Yeah, so we
going
would
for it.
The pit
go
crew.
and then get the shot, and then they'd be like, okay, and we'll do it again soon. And then we'd hand our prop to our guys, and they would like quickly strip the fireworks and rewire them and give it back to us and just get multiple takes. But when they showed us the footage, it was filmed at, what was it?
1,000 frames.
1,000 frame
frames.
rates
I was
per
gonna ask.
second. And you can see every sparkle
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
pyro popping, and it was
And
just amazing.
it's funny too, because whenever this kind of stuff happens, and it's like when videographers have shot us doing work before, and they show you the footage. It even happened just recently. Like they'll show you the footage after your show, and they're like, "Look how awesome this is! Look how awesome this is!" And there was this woman over in the director's chair, and she's like, "Kris, get over here!" Like real, like, you know. I was like, oh, "Okay," and I went over, like thinking I was in trouble, and she's like, "Look at this!" And it was like this tiny little TV, because the camera they were using was a crane. It was on a crane. It was like a big crane on this bloke's like shoulder. And she's like, "Have you ever seen you doing this before?" And it was like 1,000 frames per second of this slow mo, one of these things.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could, like Maddie said, every little like piece of the firework that would come out into the sky and just like pop.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
awesome.
was just like,
I suppose you guys never see it from that perspective.
I
Right?
know.
You're always
Yeah.
on the other side.
Yeah. And we saw it, and in my head, I'm just like, I'm never going to get this footage. This footage is the best,
This
but
would
I'm
be
never
great
going to
to
get this
film.
footage.
Hire out a camera that does 1,000 frames. Not many cameras do that. But
Yeah.
film
But
some
so you kind of went there to like spread your brand a little
Just
bit.
to show
Did you
people
find
what it looks
Did
like.
you find it helped? Is it easier to sell yourself now? Like you can say, just
Well,
look
now
at
we've
this ad.
done.
It's funny because it definitely helped when selling it to clients saying, we've been on Australia's Got Talent, even though it shouldn't really have that much weight. But it really,
it does.
people see it and think, oh, wow, it must be a good
Yeah.
show. Do you know
These
what I
days,
mean?
these days it's like we've done that much pyro now
Yeah.
that we do more. We do way more pyro shows than we do fire shows.
Yeah.
It's definitely taken over well and truly.
Yeah.
And we've just got ample. We got so much footage now that
Yeah.
we've just got full show
The
reels
Instagram
of the
just
stuff
sells it
that
for
it's just there. Yeah, and the AGT gets slipped in sometimes, but otherwise it was like
It was a great experience, though. Like, our first time being on television, being in that kind of environment, I think it was my first time being interviewed. Like, it was really good learning experience for us.
What about the music video we shot? Does that help you get clients?
That was hilarious.
Would you do
was
any
so
more
fun.
things like that, like short film, music videos, projects like
would
that?
we do or have
I
we done?
would-
Yeah, or both.
I would
Have
love
you?
to do more music videos.
Yeah.
Same.
It's something we
Yeah.
haven't really gotten into, but I would love to do music videos.
Music videos would be cool. Music
Yeah.
videos would
See
be
you doing a
fun.
lot.
Yeah.
Chris Brown has a fire dancer in one of his videos.
Really?
If you're watching
Could've been
Chris
you.
Brown.
Could have been. Could have been. Yeah.
But that was a crazy day with the weather.
That was-
Yeah.
Performing in rain and
Yeah.
Everyone was
change
so
every 2
positive,
seconds.
though.
Everyone was
we're like, we
positive.
have to
Had
do
to get it
this.
done, yeah.
We
Yeah.
have to do this.
Yeah.
How many times do you battle the elements, or do you kind of like call it off if it's a bad
Seldom do we call it
just
off.
rain, hail, or
We've done
shine?
a pyro show in
for
the
it.
rain. The photos were beautiful.
Yeah, probably looks
We-
cool.
It
Right? You see the
looks
sparks.
awesome.
out of the
If
rain.
you've got a proper photographer there and you're performing in the rain, the pictures, especially if there's stage lighting and stuff,
yeah.
we've done quite a few shows in the rain.
If there's
now.
like a puddle
Definitely
in
an
the front.
added. Yeah. That's what they did for the commercial for AGT. They watered the floor so you get the
Do they get hoses
reflection.
and stuff?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rain definitely makes an added stress.
Yeah.
The fire. No,
Or probably if
The-
it's windy as well.
yeah, with the pyro, the wind is fine, but with the pyro, the props are so heavy. Like, all those props are so heavy with all the fireworks on them, so the rain just makes it really slippery.
Slippery. Yeah.
But the wind and fire is probably the most stressful. Yeah.
Oh,
Wind and fire.
that wind in Warrnambool in Victoria last year for me was pretty bad.
Was it a fire or pyro?
It was pyro, but it was
Yeah.
the sketchiest I've ever felt with pyro. Like,
It
yeah,
was crazy wind, though.
we've always said like, yeah, wind's not that much of an issue when we do pyro, but yeah, if it's like,
Urban
Sometimes it
experience.
bites you.
yeah, that was pretty hectic, wasn't it? Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
been the most difficult piece of equipment or like routine to learn or to incorporate into your act?
I have something that I have been learning and trying to learn on and off throughout my whole career. And it's something I really want to do. It's fire eating. So
Oh,
where
so you do
you
wanna do it.
put the
Yeah,
fire in your mouth.
So
and
what's tough about it?
I have this
Like
amazing...
the shit you do is fucking mental.
Yeah, right. I'm always like, you do way more dangerous shit than this.
That's what I'm saying. Like I've seen
Like-
small fire twirlers who just have like tiny little things, and they're willing to eat fire. Not calling you out
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but like what?
No, I
No,
know.
you're so right. It's purely a mental block.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I have this amazing teacher. Shout out to Billy Tempest, and she breaks down like all of the science behind it and makes you feel so safe. And I can do it in front of her, but when I'm by myself, I can't do it. And it's just this mental block of putting fire in my face, in my mouth, and closing my mouth and being able to extinguish the flame.
Yeah.
My brain just is like, danger.
Seems crazy.
And I
Yeah,
just,
no, I don't. I'm
I
not.
just get
My brain
really
also does
Yeah,
that.
I think you should try it.
I just get really scared with
Yeah,
it, which is
that's
really
fair
funny. But it's something that I've wanted to do for ages.
Have you done it?
Will I ever do it?
Fire
I don't
eating?
know.
Yeah.
No, but breathing, yes.
Breathing, yeah.
Yeah.
Breathe out. Do you feel like a dragon?
Not a dragon. Not a dragon.
I just want to say, Kris learnt fire breathing through one of probably the best fire breather in Australia. So he actually
Wow.
learned
Yeah.
from. It is very dangerous.
It
but
is
he
extremely
actually learned
dangerous.
from
Yeah.
someone really professional and really amazing.
Is that where
at
you
what they
swallow the
do.
stuff first? That kind of fire.
Not
breathing?
swallow.
You definitely
No.
don't
Not
swallow
swallow.
the
But yeah, you essentially put the
Yeah,
fuel in your
yeah.
mouth and you have to try and create a vapor or a mist.
Oh, I'm
you know,
thinking of
over-
like something. It was like a David Blaine thing. Like, do you know David Blaine, the magician?
No,
He
the
like
name
does
rings
heaps
a bell.
of street magic and stuff like that. And he this would be like 10, 15 years old
Yeah.
now. But he like actually had a thing where it's meant to be kind of fire breathing, but he actually like swallows the stuff, keeps it in there for like a few minutes,
Oh, jeez.
and then like spits it back out, and it's on fire. It's
I
mental.
think
But
that's a lie.
I mean, he's an illusionist, so there's
Yeah.
no saying.
Yeah. Probably
Looks like
water and fuel look
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I can fire breathe, but
You
I don't
definitely
do
don't
it.
swallow fuel. No one go and swallow fuel.
Yeah, what happens if you
at
swallow it?
home.
What
Is that a
happens?
health and safety concern?
It's more so if you breathe it in when you can get like your chemical pneumonia,
Yeah.
things like that. Because if you're ever in a position where you need to, like, you'd swallow a little bit over breathing a little bit in.
Yeah.
Ideally,
But don't
though,
do that.
you don't want to go
do
swallowing the
either.
fuel. You would rather spit it out and rinse.
How about flame throwing? Do you do much of that?
Like with the
The flamethrowers.
Big gun.
Yeah.
they were
Chris made our flamethrowers.
yeah.
haven't used
We
them
don't
in a
really
while.
use them
You don't use that too much?
anymore.
He just made them for fun one day.
Yeah.
Just
Oh well,
wanted to
we've got
know.
footage of it. So
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just what you do at home when
Yeah.
you're bored. You make a flamethrower.
But also because we sell some special effect powders and stuff as well, and we ordered some stuff that wasn't doing what we wanted it to do out of clubs for fire effects. So because we had 40 kilos of this stuff that cost us
Yeah.
shitloads of money,
So
we had to find a way to put it to use. And the best way to put it to use was to compress it into fire, like into the flamethrowers, basically, because the air particles would make it ignite.
We did
So-
use them for the Echo last year. So
We did.
They came in handy.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
great
yeah. We had
gig
6
of
people
ours.
hitting flamethrowers
Yeah.
around the field.
How was
That's
Echo?
awesome.
What's the biggest show you guys have done? Is it the Echo?
Yeah,
I'd say.
I would say so.
Do you
It's the
mean in
only
regards
time-
to like biggest as in crowd and
Yeah, biggest crowd.
Well, it would be because
Good
it was
question.
20,000
Probably.
people a night for 9 nights.
Probably.
wow.
It was our first time having a team of 6 as well. So we had 6 of some of the best fire performers in Australia spinning. It was all pyro, wasn't it?
all pyro.
Spinning all pyro. And doing a flamethrower,
Yeah.
had a cheeky flamethrower in there. And everyone's professionalism was just so amazing, and everyone nailed it and did such a good
Yeah.
job. And
Yeah.
the team at the Eka is so awesome to work with.
Yeah.
We were essentially we were the human component of the fireworks display.
Yeah,
Right.
so there was the field and there's the fireworks display going off in the middle, and all the flame towers around that. And then on the outside of that is us 6 performers on the field spinning
Yeah.
fireworks as well.
That's
It was
cool.
so awesome.
And so
It
nice
was
to
very
do
loud.
so nice to do something like that in Brisbane
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
having grown up in Brisbane and stuff, and the Eka always being like
Something you grew up with.
something I grew
Yeah.
up with. Like my dad used to work across from the showgrounds
Yeah.
as well, and like I remember when it was ever Eka time as a little kid, I'd go and help him with the parking and all that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
then to be in that arena looking at all those people, like, before the start of a show, it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
When people say they're going to go see fireworks, they don't expect people to be
Yeah.
doing fireworks.
Yeah, that's true.
Changing it all up.
That's true.
Is there like a big show anywhere in the world that you guys really want to go to someday and perform at that has this kind of thing, or?
We haven't gone overseas as Flux and had a gig yet. That's definitely a really big goal of ours. We would love to perform internationally.
We definitely get offers.
Yeah.
Why haven't you gone then?
Well, I mean, it's when we start quoting it and quoting umbrella travel and all that kind of stuff, and then it's the logistics.
Yeah,
behind
surely
some
traveling
things.
with your stuff is a nightmare.
Yeah,
With security and stuff.
It's just a matter of getting.
Could you hire stuff over there?
If it's
If you
international,
can find the right place.
I don't think so. We would have to travel, send all our props over, and then obviously buy the fireworks when you're overseas.
if it's fire, it'll be quite simple. We've traveled to most major cities in Australia and done shows, fire shows by plane, like flying our fire gear there, ordering our fuel and consumables to the destination because it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
But with our fireworks, there's particular spec and particular batches and stuff that we like to use because we're quite particular about it, which is hard to get guaranteed that we're going to get it at the destination. So when we do pyro shows around Australia, Maddie and I drive a lot. We'll drive 20 hours
We
to
do
do a
24
show.
hours straight
24
once.
hours straight
Wow.
kind of scenario.
Never
so.
do that again.
Where was
Well,
that
we've
too?
done it. Where were we coming from?
Well, we've done the Cairns drive straight a couple times. We've
What
done
was that one?
Boulia.
Was that? We did the Boulia camel races last year.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. Is that like super inland Queensland or something?
Yeah. Past Winton, Gulf of Carpentaria kind of way.
Yeah.
Near Northern Territory border.
Middle of nowhere.
The deserts.
Middle of
Hence the
nowhere.
camels. Yeah.
The camel races.
I could picture
Yeah.
you guys doing the Burning Man festival.
Um,
Yeah.
In Las Vegas. Near Las
You'd be at the
Vegas.
bottom of the man setting fire to them.
Yeah.
That'd be the
Yeah.
honor.
That would
That'd be a crazy
cool.
one to do.
Yeah, I think personally, I think a show that would be awesome, like something that would be like, on the top of the list, would be the Olympics,
The Olympics.
Like the opening and closing ceremony.
something like that. I mean, they're going to be here in 2032, and we're
Yeah.
definitely
Pitch it
definitely
to the
doing
camera right now.
You gotta
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there'll
Yeah.
definitely be some sort of pyro there. So
Yeah. So I mean, I think something like that would be cool.
We'd love to do more big productions. Like big productions is what we would love to do. And one day we would love to do productions of our own. That's a big goal of ours.
Yeah.
Like to have your own company do it?
Just to do our own productions.
By productions, we're like a full length show from like a 45-minute ticketed event,
Yeah.
if you'd
Yeah.
rather than like right now we get booked
as
being
part
booked
of another
part
show.
of a
Yeah,
production,
yeah.
or we get booked as a show and we go and deliver a show.
Yeah.
Like productions, I think Madison means kind of like ticketed
Yeah,
events.
Like
of
this
our
is the
own.
Flux show in town tonight.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
State of Flux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already thought about it. We've already thought about it.
For a while.
And what would you
Bring,
do?
like-
Would you have like supporting acts that do other things or
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a
nice.
journey.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, lots of different performers, lots of different acts.
I think that's something that's missing because a lot of shows that get put together, rightfully so, and even with things like Australia's Got Talent, like I don't know about the case when you guys were on there, but it seems like singers always win, right? Or it's always singers that put like
Sometimes
festivals and
dancers get
stuff together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be
I
cool to
think
have things that
acro
aren't singers.
people Actually,
This time it was
acro
Okay,
circus
I'll eat my words
people
then.
This
What,
one
like
was
dancers
actually
or?
won.
a
Yeah,
massive group of acro children.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't it? Children? Should I be?
Those African.
No. They were runners up. I'm pretty sure it was Acro Amazing. They were like a group of
Dancers?
kids. I'm pretty sure they were
There you go.
kids.
I take that back.
Okay,
Yeah.
Might take my words back too. But
Yeah.
the point being, it's
Maybe
cool that
you're watching the singing show.
Yeah, you were watching the
There's-
The
there's
Voice.
definitely-
yeah. Bloody singers at it again, eh?
Probably more so in other countries. But anyway, it's still like same goes for like shows being put together. A lot of it's just based around like music and all. And like your kind of thing would be the forefront entertainment, if that makes sense. So it's would be awesome to have that as a full show. What kind of other performances do you think like go with pyro and fire?
We also do angle grinding. I don't know if you've seen our
Yeah, we
angle
had
grinding
Yeah,
stuff.
we haven't seen yours, but we've filmed it before. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
other people doing it. Yeah.
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 interesting.
We know a few amazing angle
Yeah.
grinders who could do something
Yeah.
awesome.
Chuck
Do you
some
know Dealer
aerials
Vinks?
in.
Sorry.
Do you know Dealer Vinks?
That sounds familiar.
I not personally, but I've definitely seen her on Instagram.
She's the angle grinder we know.
Yeah.
It was the first time I ever saw it. And I was like, fuck,
What
whoa.
did you think when you saw it? Because I love watching people's
Reactions.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was just like a bit of a when they walk out on stage with the plate and the ankle grinder, your head kind of puts like one and one together, but it's not until they start doing it that you're like, whoa, that's what's happening. I don't know. To me, I've seen some weird shit in terms of performances, so it wasn't that strange.
So we do it
but-
onto each other and stuff.
What do you mean?
Like-
Like on
We
top of
learned-
each other, like
yeah.
one of you's kind of on the ground. I think they were doing
Yeah.
that at the show
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, last year we learnt partner angle grinding for Sexpo. We performed at the Sexpo last year.
I was going to
and we
ask
were
this
like-
actually.
Maddie
Do you,
had been
as a
grinding for a
couple,
while.
do you try to put like a sexy edge into your performance ever, or it depends on the venue?
Depends on-
It really depends on the
Yeah.
client
Yeah.
and the venue. Sexpo, obviously.
yeah.
Probably
You
not,
gotta
probably
have
not
it.
the
Partner
ones with
angle
kids though.
grinding, partner angle grinding works great.
Yeah. But they made it Love X for that 1 year.
Yeah, it was Love X
They,
that year.
and I think it seemed like they tried to dial it back a little bit with the
Yeah.
level of
We
sexualized.
weren't naked or anything.
Yeah.
Full
They
on when
actually
you
had
first
us in
walk
like
in
these
there.
work suits, didn't they? They had us in like
We were
these.
in work suits. We were horny underground workers.
Yeah,
and
on the
Chris and-
tools.
Yeah, on the tools. And Chris and I did this partner angle grinding out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
Did you
quite,
come up with all the ideas?
They had a creative director and he had all the concepts and then told us to put something together for this specific section.
Yeah, James Brown,
Yeah.
amazing, and also the choreographer Masham
Yeah.
was an amazing choreographer, and everyone was being used on the stage pretty much all the time, like the whole
Yeah.
cast.
But we'll angle grind on each other. Like, I'll lie down and I'll be angle grinding off my belt and Chris will be over the top of me and angle grind sparks onto me.
Yeah, and then we'll angle grind off each other's belts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get creative, you know.
Yeah. But after
Sounds so
that, so Maddie had been doing angle grinding for a while before that, and then we needed to have like this really sexual act for Sexpo. So I was like, all
It's
right,
like
well,
funny sex.
I guess I'm gonna learn angle grinding.
Is it
And
less
then
common for guys?
Oh yeah,
I'm guessing 'cause just a bit more danglage potentially.
I guess, yeah. But also, I just think it's not really been something that like dudes have really tended to do.
Yeah.
And then
You guys are a company that do a lot of first things.
yeah. So I
Do you think
just
as
started
it,
doing
like,
and
do you think
I
you might
love
blow
it.
up in the gay scene as a guy doing it?
Maybe.
Would you love that?
Maybe. I wouldn't mind.
You so would. If
wouldn't
he
mind.
was in like little
No, you
tight
probably- you
Speedos,
wouldn't be happy about
angle
that.
grinding at a gay party, they would love that.
I think
Yeah.
they would.
Well, you see it in the UK. Actually, there are some grinder guys in the UK
Yeah.
doing some stuff.
There you go.
Yeah,
Probably
but
making
Grinder
bank.
guys.
but after Sexpo, I was like, I love this shit. Like, This is awesome.
It is really fun. Once you get over the fear of it
Yeah.
and that you're
Yeah.
holding an angle grinder.
Then yeah, it was
Yeah.
suitable to other places too, like Movie World and whatnot.
Yeah,
and,
we
Oh
did
yeah,
angle
let's talk
grinding.
about
yeah.
Movie World.
Yeah.
We did
You guys
angle
did a show at
grinding there
Movie
for
World.
Fright Nights.
Yeah.
Fright nights, yeah, they go pretty hard around Halloween, hey? For
They do.
that time, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it like? You're up on stage. What's the whole go there?
That year they chucked us in an alleyway.
Yeah.
So you're
the alleyway.
walking through the whole place.
No,
just
we
doing
had
it.
the alleyway sectioned off because
Right,
we did
right,
pyro
right.
as well.
So everyone's
Yeah.
walking through the, I don't know if you know the main street, and you kind of have to stumble across us in the
Yeah,
alleyway.
like where like the Harry Potter store, like all the little stores and stuff are, like the ice cream shops and that kind of thing.
I think so. There's like this little
Yeah.
alleyway bit in between
It's
the
called the
shops.
Village Bean alleyway, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I remember it from the safety documents.
Yeah, but we did pyro, fire, and angle grinding there.
4 shows
Yeah.
a night.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 shows a night all month, and we had some of our other Flux performers, Billy with us and Jeremy as well.
Did some stuff.
Yeah.
Are these other people like freelancers in the business, or you've actually got other people in your team?
So we're business partners,
Yeah.
and then when we need more people, yeah, we have crew that we
Yeah.
can call upon
Yeah.
that are willing to represent our brand.
Is
We've
it
also
nice?
been fire performers for a really long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Just
picky.
know a lot of people.
Yeah.
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 So were you guys like really adventurous, wild kids that were like playing with stuff and scaring your parents?
I definitely was. Yeah,
I think you have to,
yeah.
like-
I also want to know, like, what were you jigging up as a kid? Like, it sounds like you like to just stick things together and hope it makes something.
Like built a lot of cubbies and stuff. Is that what you mean? I definitely built a lot of
Didn't you make
cubbies.
those potato things?
Potato things.
I don't know. You were talking about those,
Potato
like,
chips.
Potato cakes.
Those, the shoots.
Oh, spud cannons.
I had never heard of them before. I never did that kind of
I mean,
stuff
I was
as a kid,
12
but-
when those things came around. That was more my brother's doing, but yeah, that was definitely awesome. Yeah. Just played a lot of sport and
Yeah.
always liked to be outdoors and.
So
yeah,
what triggered
a little bit of a
this
ruckus.
specifically then, wanting to go for like, flow arts and fire? Like what? I know you've said what you love about it. What
Did you like
what
find a
happened?
little community?
Yeah, like
I
there must have been a
did.
day where you didn't love it, and then a day where you did.
Yeah, well, I remember, I'll never forget being at Rainbow Serpent Festival down in Melbourne when I was, oh God, I would have been like 18 or, no, younger. I probably would have been 18, and I remember seeing the performers there and just being like so blown away and thinking, wow, I would love to do that. And just when I started going to festivals when I was younger and seeing all the performers and like watching the fire circles and just thinking, wow, everyone looks so beautiful. What they're doing looks so amazing. And I just would love watching them.
So
And
you're like already
then-
in the festival circuit as a fan a little bit though too. So you kind of, I guess you were
Yeah.
seeing other people work at festivals, and you kind of thought I could do that too. Because
Yeah,
for me,
well,
it's
just-
like I have no idea how I'd go about getting work as like a fire twirler or anything
Yeah,
like that.
well,
You know?
I just did it for fun for a while, and then had a lot of friends in the festival scene, and a lot of them were starting to get into flow arts and fire themselves, and I did actually have a community around where I grew up at the time, and lessons started happening, and it was an opportunity to I started by learning levy wand, which is like one of my favorite props, and hula hooping, and just got a hula hoop and started learning how to hula hoop and teaching myself levy wand as well. And yeah, just had a few teachers and just really loved it and just did it for fun all the time. Yeah.
So what was your normal day job while you were learning all of this?
Back then I did hospitality and worked in retail. I did kids parties for a bit as well, where the hula hooping and this kind of stuff came in handy. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I've only been doing it full time since I've been with Kris.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like you guys sort of decided you were gonna just make it work no matter what, or
I used to
more
work-
work had just been
well,
coming in naturally. Or?
I used to work a corporate job.
Yeah.
You were doing
Because you both seem
Yeah.
like people that just could not do that.
other-
I tried corporate.
I'm
I
actually
can't.
shocked that you did corporate.
I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
I could see you performing for corporate.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, I was working full time, and our business was doing really well. So it just trying to even just juggle the two, I was just snowed under for
Yeah.
quite a while.
Were you happy in that world though? Were you wanting to get out? Or
Once upon a time, I used to be
Yeah.
happier.
because this just seems like you guys,
in
you
that
guys
world?
seem
Yeah.
perfect together. It just seems like this is how you were born
Yeah.
into this world.
Yeah,
Born
yeah,
a
yeah.
fire
This is-
performer.
yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, for me as well, flow arts for me was just a hobby for so many years of my life. It was just fun. I first saw it. Bryce was the first person I ever saw spin something. Bryce Watts, amazing fire performer and represents us. Sometimes he's part of our ECA team and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was the first person I ever saw shred. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And that was about 2009, 2010 when that happened. And then after that, I was like, oh, I want to play around with that kind of stuff, and sort of just kept it as a hobby and really enjoyed the art of flow a really long time, but kept working normal jobs. And then, that hobby eventually turned into something that was worth more than that. And then, especially when you get to a point in your life, and I'm sure a lot of other people in other performing arts disciplines and stuff would be able to resonate with this, but there becomes a point where it's it's all you're sort of thinking about, even when you're trying to maintain this normal kind of life.
Yeah.
And it's I'm at work, but I'm answering phone calls about fireworks on my mobile while I'm dealing with other stuff. And then I'm, talking to Maddie about other things while I'm at work that are totally unrelated to that job. And and then dealing with the bullshit in working for a university, because that's where I worked. I worked for a university, and I was like, well, this just isn't me.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer to do what I love with my partner and kick ass and put all my energy into that rather than put my
Must
energy
have felt like
into
living two lives for a little while.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Because
Totally
even when I
different
first started
ends of
this
the spectrum.
business, it was like, I was working a job at the same time. And it'd be
Yeah.
like, sometimes I'd go into the valley to like film stuff at night after I've been at a corporate role all day. And it's like, am I even the same person as I was like
No.
6 hours ago?
But you're not.
Yeah,
you're not.
totally,
Yeah,
you're not.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're
It's
walking into
mask
different
on, mask
rooms,
off, mask on.
And then like
yeah,
you're at one person like Chris from the university. Now
Yep,
you're like
yep.
Chris from Flux. Like my
You're like
business
a
kind of-
character in
Yeah.
someone else's life,
Yeah,
and the main
yeah.
character of your own
So the
life.
weird
Who
thing was
am
when you're
I?
like doing a show and like you cross paths with someone that's seen you at work, and you're like, oh yeah.
In the early days when it's just a hobby too.
Yeah,
That's what I want to get into actually. Like, how important is your guys' get up? Because,
Costuming?
yeah, like how much thought goes into it? Is it different outfits every time? Like,
Yeah.
what are you thinking about when you pick
We
these
really
out?
try our best. We don't make our own costumes, which would really help. But we really try our best to have like themes with our costuming and accessorizing is really important. And
Fire safety.
yes,
Fire safety.
having
Yeah.
fire safe clothing
Yeah.
is the most important thing.
Because you do see some people
You
out
mean
there
what,
with
just, like,
costumes
not
that are the
flammable?
frocks and the feathers and the massive dresses, and you're just like, hey, like that costume is great. It looks
Yeah.
great, but
Gonna get you killed.
you are at risk of like destroying. You know, you could really hurt yourself,
Yeah.
and it's not a good look.
So
I'm
we
surprised
use
that's not
leather
just
and
like
cotton.
common sense, like day one.
You'd think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Feathers on your.
It's out there.
It's out there. Trust me. Yeah, trust me.
So those
Trust
people
me.
just have to push the envelope. Hey?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We like to be as safe as we can.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds
Maddie
like
said,
it.
leather, cotton,
Yeah.
or just predominantly natural fibers.
Yeah.
Is generally the first sort of choice.
We've liked going for, like, I feel like our vibe has kind of been a almost steampunky, badass, black.
Would you say steampunky?
Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you
Maybe
do at
not.
like the camel and country shows? Do you have a different vibe for that to the city?
We wouldn't
Yes.
dress how you think.
Yeah.
But
We're-
we're
yeah.
always very kind of like black,
Yeah.
badass, kind of.
Sometimes like
Leather.
futuristic-y,
Yeah, futuristic.
Mad Maxy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Even like the Echo were like they just wanted us to look that Mad Maxy vibe.
Yeah.
They were like, wear what you wear in these other videos, and then we rocked up and we realized that the theme they were going for was like this Mad Maxy vibe. And we're like, I guess it suits. Like, so yeah, futuristic-y, modern.
It almost like gives you a bit of a
Badassy,
character
industrial
too,
kind
because
of
it's
thing.
like it's. I suppose we're a little bit biased. Like when we first met you, you had face paint on like the whole time, so we barely even know what you looked like.
Oh,
But we were
right.
just like, it kind of seemed like it fit with the costumes, and just
Yeah.
the costumes fit with the
Yeah.
character too. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
is that was that like premeditated? Is what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Like, what, do other people wear similar things, or do other people not put as much emphasis on the clothing?
Everyone's
It's like you
different.
guys are both
Yeah.
young, really good-looking people. Like, you may as well go what you like, flaunt what you've got, right? Or does everyone kind of try to incorporate?
I believe you should always wear shoes.
not be a
When I
thief.
see
There's
performers without shoes on, it grinds my gears.
There's definitely a fire performer.
Is that safety or
You would think they would at some of those hippie festivals and stuff.
surely Northern Queensland? They're not wearing shoes.
Well, I mean, yeah.
There's definitely a fire performer look. Like you,
Yeah.
you can really spot the fire performers sometimes.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got photos of
yeah.
fire performers without wearing shoes. I can vision it now.
Yeah,
I've
but-
seen it.
Yeah, definitely. When I hear fire twirling, I have an image in my head of who does that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
we
it's like-
always have shoes on.
We do.
We
It's
always
like
have shoes on.
particular like dark circus kind of look, and it's like, yeah, he's definitely a
Yeah,
fire
the dark
performer
circus.
with like
Dark
the
circus
striped
vibe.
pants and the top hat and the
Yeah.
suspenders.
Yeah,
That's not our vibe, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's definitely that kind of look. Most people in the scene put so much energy and effort into their costumes. It's amazing. A lot of them make their own costumes as well. I used to have a tribal fire show that I would sell, and I would wear more of a kind of like tribal belly dance type outfit, and that would really help me like embody that kind of character. So it does really make a difference.
Yeah.
And I'd say when we do pyro, though, we have to dial back on a few things that could potentially get in the way of sort of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously when
Like,
we wear...
I guess safety or like just distraction from the audience?
Safety,
Right.
safety, yeah. And also there's just PPE that we have to wear. So it'd be really hard for Maddie or I to wear certain things on our head. For example, like we might be able to with a fire show because we've got glasses and masks on.
Yeah.
Because we've got to be able to breathe because the smoke's a lot, so we need to wear masks and we need to protect our eyes. So there's just other considerations that need to be made depending on the show type, I suppose. But Maddie's always the one I think that usually puts the most thought into how we present ourselves, I would say.
I try not to repeat costumes too much, but
Yeah.
it does end up adding up.
It does, yeah. Especially if you're buying leather.
The
and-
tattoos add to the look too.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Always try to wear a shirt or a top or something. Even if it's like a vest.
Yeah.
Just like something
So you
there.
don't burn yourself?
I think.
Like-
What's that?
So again, like safety or?
No, like this is just me personally,
Yeah.
but I think it's very easy for a man to just have no shirt on when he does
Yeah.
a fire show or a pyro show. And it's kind of like,
You think it's distracting from the show? Or?
no.
Yeah, he's actually checking them out.
No.
Well, no, I just more so
no.
mean like it's like
You have a good
you're
gym
trying to
body.
focus on like the choreography, right? Not this guy's like
I just
rock
think
hard
it's.
abs or
I,
something.
I
Chris
just
thinks
think
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
look
look as
good.
professional.
Yeah.
Like I think it's nice to look more professional and
Yeah.
like
a bit of
appeal
effort
to
in.
put a bit more effort in. So even if it's just a simple vest or
Yeah.
a pair of shoes,
Yeah.
I think it goes a long way. Especially if you're trying to make your product sell to corporate events.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to make your product more appealing to a wider demographic. You're not just wanting to pitch at your festivals. You want to
Yeah.
pitch at a wider demographic. I think you need to really pay attention to your presentation and things like that.
So let's dive into that. How else do you guys stand apart from everyone else? Like aside from, doing things like fireworks that no one else does and trying to wear a vest, look professional. How else can you How else can you sort
Wearing
of
key
set
points.
yourself apart from the
Yes,
crowd?
yes, the best.
Wearing your shoes.
Yeah, shoes. Yeah.
Shoes, vest, fireworks.
Yeah.
Wallet, keys, go.
The only performers in Queensland that wear shoes.
But yeah, what kind of things do you think about when trying to
Music.
stand out from the crowd? Yeah, music
Yeah,
to perform
music
to.
and
Our music's
partner
different.
choreography, I would say.
Our music and our partner Corey. Yeah.
Is that something you guys have that not many others do in the industry, like the couple
There definitely-
dynamic? Or
There definitely are quite a few people doing putting partner choreographies together. There's a lot of amazing fire performers and flow artists out there. But yeah, I just feel like as long as you are doing it with the right intentions and doing it with passion and because you love it, and coming up with, we're always trying to come up with unique creative ideas, that people will want to book your show and they'll like to watch you because of your uniqueness and because of they see your passion through your performing.
Mm-hmm. And you start, sort of ticking the boxes of, your presentation and all the
Yeah.
other stuff that goes with that and music choice. And
how do you grow your performance? Like, do you kind of think every 6 months you have to throw something new in there, or like, is there anything like that? Like a stand-up
That's a hard
comedian, for
question.
instance, like
Yeah.
they'll run a set until it's recorded, and then it's like once it's recorded, they can't do it anymore because it's out in the world. Do you guys have anything like that, or it's like you just keep adding to it, taking
We
bits
put a
bits
lot
away?
of like we have our choreographies for our partner props, but for every client is so different. We always end up doing new shows for, well, not always, but a lot of the time we end up doing a kind of new show for the client with like music that would suit their event.
like
and
we've
their
got the Greek
preference.
Festival in Brisbane coming up.
Oh, you're doing the Greek festival.
And that's the Greek
That's
music
the Greek music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Right.
they're choosing. And then we know our choreographies and we know our props, and then we'll kind of piece it together,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
do that a lot.
But when we get like a festival, like festivals for us are when we can like really express ourselves fully.
What? Because there's no
There's no real
guidelines, like-
limitations
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're arts
Creatives.
and music festivals.
Yeah.
Just
So
go out and entertain.
Bring
people.
Don't provide
Don't hold
limitations to people at an arts and music festival if you book that person for their skill and ability, because you're not going to get the best performance out of those people.
Yeah.
So usually a festival is good because they'll just be like, we want you to do like recently we did that like esoteric where we got engaged. That show was like, we knew it was going to be huge, awesome festival, and they gave us no limitations. They just said this amount of time and do what you want, send it. So we chose the music that we really wanted to, and the feedback was great. And
What sort of prep goes into doing these shows?
fire shows, pyro shows, or both?
Yeah, everything.
Both. Yeah, pyro.
Start with fire.
Start with
because
fire.
pyro
Sure, you
is
don't just rock up on
a
the day.
lot more prep. So putting the show together with choosing the music, editing the music ourselves, either like adding new choreography with our props or old choreographies and putting it all together in the show.
Working out your transitions.
Working out your transitions with the music, practicing on fire. And then, on show day, rocking up to your show and fueling your props.
Fueling, timing your fueling, making sure you're timing your fueling right so that you're not like, you're soaking your props and then you're waiting an hour and a half before you light them because your fuel will evaporate and whatnot. And like our effects powders and stuff, maybe we're adding effects powders into like clubs for fire effects and whatever. Getting all our safety stuff in order.
Yeah.
Dealing with venue or client.
But then our pyro shows is like a full day setup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wiring, like
Yeah.
affixing, wiring, piece by piece. Also, making sure everything's charged, obviously. But I mean, the securing and the wiring of all the product can be quite time consuming. Like we can turn up to a fire show, depending on the venue, 2 hours before
I think we're usually about 2 hours.
show start
before.
time, and like we've got all the show prepped and ready to go, and the audio is probably sent through to them, or we've got the audio with us.
Yep.
And then we can just focus on getting ready for the show, getting changed and fueling and doing all that kind of stuff. With pyro shows, we've pretty much got to allow like
Whole day.
a whole day to turn up and set up our show and get everything in order.
Mm.
Yeah.
So lots of prep.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what goes into the quotes as well when people are
Yeah, and you break it down.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
tell them what they're paying for. It's not just a matter of
Yeah.
rocking up and doing the thing. There's a lot of energy that goes into it, and you want to make sure that it's recognised.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, you touched on it before, and congratulations are in order because you guys are recently engaged. So congratulations, guys.
Are you going to
But-
perform at your wedding?
Well, no, the funny thing is you said you did it at the
Everyone
end of a
else does.
performance.
Yeah. Yep.
Very
How-
recently.
Yeah, so
Very
tell us
3
all about
weeks
that.
ago.
Did you keep it an entire secret too?
Yep.
Like you had no idea?
Yep. No.
Nice.
I had no
nice.
idea. And like the day of the performance, I was like, why are you so nervous? We've done this before. Like, she
Yeah,
was
we've done this
really
heaps of
nervous.
times.
And I was nervous. I always get nervous before a show, but I was like, you're really nervous. Are you okay?
Yeah. It was just the right timing, I guess. It was just like
When did you decide it had to be at a show?
always had it in my mind.
Yep.
Like,
I
that's-
did always think he would do it
Yeah.
at the end of the show
it had
as well.
been on my mind for a very long time. I just wanted it to be the right show.
Wait, was this in
Yeah.
front of a lot of people?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm
For
glad she
the
didn't say no.
closing-
Well,
Can
I
you
think
imagine?
honestly, at that you have to say yes, and then when you get back to the
Yeah.
car, you have to be like,
Okay.
Why would you ask me in front of everyone? That's embarrassing.
Yeah. I take that back. Yeah.
It was-
you can't be that woman on the internet who said no in front of like thousands of
No.
people, right?
Well, yeah, it was just
But I haven't taken it back.
no.
It was
But-
the closing ceremony of Esoteric Festival, which
Yeah.
was an amazing festival.
So you're happy it was that festival, not a different one?
Yeah, it was. It's a massive festival. It was amazing, and we just had the funniest, best weekend of our lives. It was
Yeah.
such a fun weekend with like beautiful humans. And then our show went really well.
Yeah, a show which was very uniquely our expression. Like we put a lot of thought and time and energy into choosing
Which
that
was
music.
a pyro show.
It was all pyro. We actually didn't light anything. There wasn't any fire in it at all. It was just fireworks the whole time. We've
Yeah.
set some stage fireworks up at the back as well. So between transitions, we're like pushing buttons and like letting off
Yeah.
big stuff at the back, and
Yeah.
this show just went really clean. Like it was just a really clean show, and technical issues we happened to rectify like quickly on the spot, and everything just went really well. And then towards the end of the show, basically earlier on in the day, I'd snuck the ring to a friend of mine and gave him a high-vis vest and said, right at the end of the show, when you see me drop to one knee, like, you barge through the crowd and you jump onto the stage, because if you're wearing a high-vis vest, no one will ask questions.
Yeah.
And because we joke about it, like when you wear a high-vis, you can get away with anything.
It's kind of like us with a camera. If we walk into a festival with a camera, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
You don't
And
need tickets to
and
it.
we got a fella at the back to hold off pushing the fireworks. So I told Maddie the fireworks were going to be going off at the back during our last partner choreography. But then I told the fella at the back, Nico, just said to him, like, she won't know that they haven't gone off because what we're doing is so loud and
I didn't
bright
think twice
that
about
she won't
any
realise.
of it.
So push the button when I drop to one knee instead. And so I dropped to one
So
knee, fireworks
badass.
went off, ring came out, people lost their shit, and
What was
That's
the frame
actually-
rates? What was the animation?
you got it in 1,000 frames. You better stop.
someone out there has it on 1,000 frames because they showed us after the show, and we're
wow.
like, we're never getting that footage.
I was actually annoyed at him because we finished our show.
You were annoyed after
Yeah,
all that?
we finished our show and we
Just like, oh, well, yes, but
we have our fans and we put them in our outside hand, and then we come together and we bow. And we finished with our fans in the air, and then he ran to the front to put them down. And I was like, why is he breaking choreography?
Yeah.
And then I then copied him and ran to the front to put them down. And I was like, we must be putting them down and then bowing. And then he came back and was on his knee, and I turned around and was like, oh.
That's why he was rushing. But there's also this funny thing where, like,
So much could have gone wrong.
it could have, but also with Madison, like, you can see each other's eyes, and you can know what they're thinking and feeling and stuff. Because there's been times where I fucked up in a pyro show or fucked up on a tech run. Remember that time? And like, you got the mask on, so I can't see Maddie's face. But I just see her eyes, and if looks could kill, like, yeah,
I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but so is he.
I am
It'll be a
too.
beautiful
Yeah.
story to tell your kids one day.
Yeah, and we got it all on film, and
It
we got
was
photos.
very
and,
beautiful.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
very shocked. It took me. I actually was like to him, "What are you doing?" Because it just took me ages to process. Like so much adrenaline from
Yeah.
doing a show, and we just finished the show, and then that happened.
he's
It
broken the
was
fucking
like,
choreography.
Right at the end. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, big show,
Imagine
lots
all
of
the
friends
tears in
there.
the audience.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people
said that.
They all were crying.
yeah, but yeah, lots
It
of
was
friends
really
there.
nice.
Big show,
Did everyone
awesome
clap?
festival.
Surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everyone's like, boo.
Golf
Everyone
clubs.
hated it.
Crickets.
That would suck.
No, that's
Yeah.
nice. Though. That's a nice full circle moment because look, Flux essentially brought you guys together. And there you go. You got engaged at the end of a Flux show.
Yeah.
That's
Very
nice.
special. He did really well. He did so good.
Yeah.
But no, I want to touch on what you kind of said in the very beginning, which was like super inspiring, and I got a warm fuzzy, and I was going to tell you in the moment, but we kind of got into a flow of it, and just how you said like how you met each other, and you both had the same passion, you really wanted to go for it. Like fuck, that's so beautiful, don't you think? Like
I can just see every time you talk about it, you're smiling so much.
yeah, and
we
like
can see
people that
passion.
truly love this thing, like. I'm with someone who I truly believe is like so supportive of what I do and loves me and everything. But you guys have the same exact thing. Like that's crazy. That's so rare.
We're very lucky
and that's,
to have that.
That's so
Very.
and it looks
Yeah.
so beautiful as well from the outside. So I'm
Yeah.
sure that crazy proposal looked beautiful as well.
Life's short too. You gotta go for it and take risks and do what you love, and
And if you can do it with the people you love, that's even better.
Yeah.
just so lucky to
Yeah.
have found each other, someone who has
Yep.
the exact same ideas and vision and dream as me. And
Because I can't
be able
imagine
chase
wanting
it.
to like succeed more with anyone else. Like we're business partners. We of course want each other to like take over the world, but you guys like. Anyone that goes into business
People
with each
say,
other, they love each other.
Running a business is like a marriage.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have both. now.
Shit one.
You guys you've already done the marriage run through. Basically, it'll be easy.
Yeah, and I mean every couple's different, right? Like I think there are a lot of couples that obviously they have their different hobbies and interests and careers and all that kind of stuff, and they work so harmoniously with one another, and that's great. And I mean, but for us personally, like I couldn't imagine not doing, not sharing what we share. You know what I mean?
You couldn't imagine just doing it with a friend.
No.
We really push each other.
Yeah, we really push each other, and we're really really good team.
Do you think there's an element of like you both know how much danger you're each in as well? So it's like you have to have it. I suppose like the whole community, you have to have each other's back in that sense. But like for you, it's like, this is the man I love. Like you better not fuck up and leave me alone. And then for you, it's like, this is the woman I love. Like is there that element to it as well? You think?
yeah. And then you hold each other accountable if you finish a show, and you're like, you fucking burnt me.
Yeah.
I told you not to do that.
At least you burn together.
Yeah, come on. Tell us about a mistake then. Who burnt who first?
I keep jabbing you.
You keep jabbing me with the
firework.
firework.
With the firework.
With the jab. Oh, no, sorry.
I'm thinking of our double subs, Corey, where we do this box and we come together and I keep jabbing him accidentally.
Yeah. Just comes back and just when we bring, I think because Maddie's arms are shorter than mine, like it's hard to explain the position, but yeah, there's a couple times where she's
keep jabbing you.
Keeps jabbing me with a stick, with a staff,
like a hot stick,
short staff, a fire staff.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
And I burnt you with a pyro just recently, just a little bit.
Yeah,
by putting you down under your arm, and I just didn't drop my arms quick enough, and I just accidentally grazed underneath there.
It wasn't bad though.
Nothing major, but things that you need to consider. And
I mean, like all jokes, we're laughing about
on.
it now, but you guys kind of instantly, like, you get to the back and you're like, okay, so how do we make sure this never happens?
Doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then you make sure it doesn't happen again because
Sometimes when you do it so often, sometimes it's like a little
You
bit
forget
of a wake-up call as well, and it's like,
you just get a bit complacent in some areas.
What
right?
I'm doing is really dangerous. Like, I need to make sure I'm.
So you actually forget sometimes.
Super onto it. Oh, you get comfortable with it. Comfortable in the chaos.
Yeah.
I've definitely
100%.
I've burnt myself with pyro before on my leg here. Won't be able to show you obviously. But that happened because my hands during this show were so sweaty, and I remember trying to wipe them before going on stage, and I was like, my hands are just so clammy. And we were doing fans where you hold them like this, and I was doing this move like this, and it just slipped a little bit, and I torched myself there. And I had this, it was such a different kind of...
They're chemically burns.
It was such a different burn,
fireworks.
like my whole...
Like it bubbles up a bit, does it?
Kind of makes your skin real tight.
Really tight and like leathery, and it was all like black, and it was so sore.
Did you like break character when that happens, or do you just
kept going? I couldn't even tell in the video where it was that I burnt myself, but
so you didn't even really feel
Shiva
it at the
arms
moment?
I did feel it. The show must go on.
You just push on. Except, the worst burn I ever had was...
You feel it more after.
The whip at the Australian Tattoo Expo.
Chris has had some bad ones.
Brisbane last year. My gloves are they have fire retardant properties, but the fire retardant. So there's a material called Kevlar, and we use it with fire props. So it's basically the material that absorbs the fuel, right? And we light it. But also, it's used in fire protect, like as it's used in some fire blankets, it's used in some fireproof clothing, and it's used in like gloves and things like that. So as well as it is fire retardant, it can also absorb fuel and vapor and hold it. And my gloves absorbed fuel vapor, and I don't know how. Because
being in your bag,
but they were out for a period, remember? Because I was really confused about how they absorbed fuel vapor. But basically, I went out with 2 fire whips. A whip in each hand, and when you've got a raging whip in each hand and your hand goes up on fire, you can't really... What are you supposed to do when you're on this...
The glove lit on fire.
The glove lit on fire. Yeah. So, and we're on this expensive stage. You can't go dropping things onto the stage, so it was quite a difficult situation to try and get rid of this flaming glove. I think to people watching... it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. Like, it was pretty quickly handled. I handled it pretty quickly and professionally. But the agony that I experienced under that glove and then taking the glove
Roughly
off after
how
the
long do you
show,
think you had it on?
I had the fire going in my glove for, I don't know, 10 seconds, maybe.
We always fire safety each other as well.
yeah.
So there's a wet towel in the back corner.
Is there a
and
fire extinguisher?
and a fire extinguisher,
Multiple.
and we fire safety each other. But in this moment, I had just come off stage and was putting my props down and grabbing my next ones, so I didn't quite see
But I was
the
basically
situation that had happened.
I was basically holding the whips, waiting for them to heat up before my cue to start. And as I'm holding the whips, here's the handle. The flame was coming up. The flame licked against the glove, and the glove was on fire. So I'm like trying to put the whips in the other hand to like get rid of it.
And this one,
And I was
catches.
doing it. That glove was fine, and then I'd put the whip back in there to start cracking them, and then it went up again, and then I'd start cracking the whips. And as I'm cracking the whips, I'm thinking like, oh, well, my gloves, I feel that burning again, so it must be up again. So stop, put it back into the other hand, put it out. So anyone watching the show would have just been like, oh, his glove went up. Oh, he dealt with it. Oh, he's back cracking whips again. Oh, it went up again. Oh, he's dealt with it. He's back cracking whips again. And then after the show, I was like, kill me. Like,
He had this disgusting, massive bubble the next day across
Yeah.
his finger. And then we had to do another day of 4 more shows.
2 more days
2 more days.
of 3 shows a day. And it was like,
But it really doesn't happen that often,
At what
burning
point would you just
ourselves.
stop and say, I can't go on?
These guys never.
No.
Committed.
We love that client.
yeah,
We love that client,
Well,
so-
I had to get the medics like basically every couple of hours to drain.
You have to. I guess you have
Drain
to
it
be more
and
careful
seal it.
when you're really remote. There's no hospitals around.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think the most dangerous thing that we probably actually, because I think we're good with I think we're really onto it with our fire safety and with looking after ourselves with what we should and shouldn't be doing in a show and what's safe and what isn't safe and like what tricks we should be doing and what we should be putting away and what should be in a choreo and what shouldn't based on safety. I think it's protecting our airways that's probably the most important thing,
Yeah,
which
especially with
is
fireworks.
especially with the fireworks. I think like there's so many toxic fumes and dangerous things getting put into the air out of those things, which is why you'll see us wear A1 respirators, you'll see us wear P1 respirators, because there has been times where I haven't worn a respirator when there's been like gold product going off, for example, and you feel like you can't
When
breathe.
we first started and we're figuring it all
out what does what and what product equates to what kind of smoke and what's smoky, what isn't smoky, and so I think airways is kind of
Make sure you can breathe always.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, it's scary stuff. But it didn't scare you off?
No.
Nothing stops you guys.
No.
It is scary and it is dangerous, but we're big on safety and we take all the precautions necessary.
So I suppose, is it kind of like, if anything goes wrong, you guys aren't blaming the fire, you're blaming yourself in a way.
Yeah,
And then
it's-
that's how you accept it, and you're like, oh, well, we can fix that.
Human
like,
error.
Yeah.
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 It's up to us to make sure we're doing all the right things, and
Yeah.
there are ways to do it safely, and you just have to have confidence in
Yeah.
your confidence, really, in
Yeah.
your skill level,
Yeah.
and that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's kind of like how you said, sometimes you get a little bit complacent, or like, you didn't say lazy, but complacent with a certain routine. It's probably the same thing if you if you aren't confident and you start hesitating on certain maneuvers, you're going to like overthink it and then hurt yourself in that way. I imagine too.
But,
It happens when you're doing it so often as well. you know.
There's always going to be risk, and the more you do something, the higher, especially if it's a dangerous activity, the more chance there is that you could really hurt yourself.
Yeah.
And but the best thing that you can do is try and mitigate risk as best as you can, you know, and like, what are the potential hazards here, and how do we make sure that like we don't let these things, happen.
Yeah. I saw you guys were on the news around the Eka time, Channel 7.
Yeah.
What was that story?
Yeah, they just you know what? I reckon they'll probably have us do it again this year as well because it was awesome.
We're
But
doing the Echo again this year. In August.
Is that go-to now?
we can announce that.
We are this year.
Yeah,
We would love
yeah.
to come back every year, but we'll see.
Yeah. They were just basically showing the evening nighttime entertainment or like a little taste of what it was like.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts in the night show, like a lot of other performers and a lot of other stuff going on. But I mean, the crux of the fireworks stuff is the fireworks display by Howard's and Sons Pyrotechnics, based out of New South Wales, one of the biggest fireworks companies in all of Australia, and then Flux as the human fireworks component. So yeah, it was like the live weathercross. While Tony was reading the weather, the state's weather,
Shout out to Tony.
Tony Alden,
He's a legend.
absolute legend, absolute legend, real funny guy. And do you know what? People don't give the weatherman enough credit
Yeah.
for what they actually
Is it a hard job?
do.
It's live.
From our
I
observation,
definitely talk shit about the weatherman because he's always wrong. I don't know about Tony.
Well,
Sorry, Tony, not you, but
Tony's
like,
always right.
yeah, Tony's got 100%
He's the
strike
best.
rate.
We got you back, Tony.
Yeah. God himself.
Yeah, maybe.
But
Tony controls the
We're
weather.
doing it live. It looks hard.
yeah, and he's
Yeah,
like
like having
trying
to
You
read
gotta
the thing on
remember so
reverse, like where
much.
things are. Yeah.
I think he had it memorized.
He had it memorized,
Yeah.
and he's like listening to what's
Every
going on back at the
Yeah.
like with the actual.
But it's like, come on, guys. Just like you've been doing pyro while he's been doing this a while.
But while he's talking to the camera, he's like, when we're 10 seconds away from cutting back to me, I'll do a little like thing with my foot,
Yeah.
like so that you guys know to push your buttons and start doing your choreography and stuff. So then
Yeah,
that was,
so he
so
did
he's
the weather
like,
and we were behind him spinning pyro, and then way behind us was this massive fireworks display, and it was just a teaser of like what you can expect
yeah,
to see at the Echo for the Echo Nights show. Yeah.
yeah. But all our TV appearances thus far have been on Channel 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The classic
Your
one.
channel.
Yeah. The mum
It's
channel.
just it's just happening that way. Yeah, it's just been happening that
Next
way.
you'll be on like, what do they have, like Married at First Sight and all those ones?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
The Bachelor, the
Oh.
Couple's Bachelor. Find your next pyro.
I
Find a
reckon
team
we'd be
member.
good on like Survivor or something.
I don't know about me.
Because we're
What's the
bushies.
word? They've got applications open literally right now.
Do they
Yeah,
just?
you applied for
Is that a
AGT.
sign?
Yeah, you got to do it. I was considering doing it.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I love Survivor. It'd be great.
Ah.
I don't know about me.
Hey.
I'm a little soft.
You're harder than you think.
Yeah.
You're harder than you think.
Oh, I think I'd struggle without my creature comforts for that long, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look easy. But then, do
Yeah.
they just go and sleep in hotels at night?
I don't know. I reckon they probably
Yeah.
would. I reckon they'd get looked after. It's TV.
Yeah.
It's
They've got
TV.
to. Like the guys, the beards aren't long enough. The girls haven't like shaved their legs and stuff. You know, there's too many signs that like they're not actually there
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
that long.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who
I've
knows?
heard Big Brother is like that now as well. They don't actually live in the house.
That's a nice house too.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with sleeping there.
See, even reality TV is not reality anymore.
Don't trust
Was
what
it
you
ever?
see on TV.
No, don't.
Or the
Don't.
news or anything.
Don't, yeah. I remember, when Big Brother was first a thing, I used to love like how raw and like real it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool
Maybe.
once upon a time.
What about Beauty and the Geek? Did they end up together?
Did they?
Surely not.
Did they?
Surely not. I remember that show. That was
That was,
crazy.
True,
that was my
that's
favorite
old now.
reality show.
Yeah.
Oh, funny
Yeah, I
as.
just wanted to say one last thing. So you grew up in Brisbane, and you obviously like love the Echo, like everyone that grew up here. So you've done that. You've been in Movie World, all these massive festivals. Like, how amazing would yourself as a kid feel like about all these achievements?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
We
yeah.
say a lot. When our younger selves would have never thought
Yeah.
that we would grow up to be pyrotechnicians.
Yeah.
I personally never would have thought that I'd end up playing with fireworks.
Yeah. Handheld stuff especially.
Well,
Because
for me, fireworks in
yeah,
general.
and thinking about what it would have been like as a kid to be able to see that. Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Pretty epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Proud of what we've done.
Yeah, just happy to be doing what we want and chasing our dreams together.
Yeah. I think doing what you want's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just being able to like I kind of feel like we're always coming up with and brainstorming like sort of crazy ideas and things that we want to sort of like do and achieve next.
Yeah.
And working out ways to sort of make it happen. And
Awesome.
Anything in particular that's next?
Yeah.
We do have a few things up our sleeve that we won't share.
Yeah.
We'll
We
get the
are-
surprise.
We are always trying to aim for going bigger and better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'll just take a bit of practice and
Yeah.
a bit of work.
Yeah.
One thing I would be happy to share, though, which I think is pretty fine to share because we've already sort of started to show it now-ish anyway, is just adding some more stage elements and things to what we do.
Yeah.
And the idea of, like, you know, you ever look online and you see, like, your hard dance festivals over in Europe and they have, like, this crazy end show. And it's like,
All the fireworks.
they're like, they are easily, you know, $200,000 like fireworks displays like going on these stages. Having like our version of something like that, but having the fireworks as a performance rather than a display. So like having all these moving human components, bringing that together with the stage elements as well, and just having something that's just like sort of sensory overload for the viewer. So we're starting to play a bit more with stage effects and all that kind of stuff at the moment. I don't really think that's
Just in
that's
time
a
for
secret,
Brisbane Olympics,
but-
maybe.
Yeah,
Get it all
but
prepared
there's
for
some
that.
other things bubbling away that hopefully we'll be able to sort of show off in the next sort of 6 to 12 months. Fingers crossed if we can get the research and development bits
Yeah.
and pieces sorted.
Yep.
We'll have to get you back on in a few years to talk about this.
Talk about it. We can reflect. We can reflect on this conversation. Yeah.
For now, where can people follow your journey? Where can they find you? On socials and online?
At Flux _entertainment on Instagram. We're super active there. Otherwise, www.fluxentertainment.com.au is our website as well.
Yeah, feel free to share that website around to crank our SEO up. It'll be good.
But no, I think hopefully throughout this episode we'll get some footage from you to sort of splice it in as well to show people exactly what we're talking about. Because I think it's important that people can see how crazy it is as well.
Yeah, for
Yep.
sure.
Cool. But
And
yeah,
awesome.
if you search Flux Entertainment, we'll
there'll be something there.
Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Yeah, we'll come up.
Nice. Well, any parting thoughts, anybody?
Parting thoughts.
Any advice for anybody who might want to get in the industry, or just any general life advice?
Follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams. All the corny things.
Nothing is out of reach.
Yeah.
Look, cliche is
Literally.
a cliche for a reason.
Take a risk.
Yeah.
Take a risk. If you have a crazy idea that no one's doing, just do it. Take a risk. Like, don't be scared to do something that might seem weird. I mean, my family was always like, growing up, oh, you can't do anything with that. Like, you can't be a fire performer.
Yeah.
You know, like, how are you going to make a career out of that? And it's just a big, I told you so,
Shame.
you know, just follow
Yeah.
your dreams. And if you're
Yeah.
passionate about something, do it. And take risks, take chances. If you wanna
Provided
get
you're in the
into-
position to do so.
Yeah.
Like, don't put all your money on Pepe.
If you're not in massive
Yeah.
debt or anything.
yeah.
Be responsible about it. But if you want to get into fire, highly recommend just like picking up a flow toy and practicing. And as for fire, learning from a professional so you know you're doing it safely.
Yeah, enjoy the process of like learning tricks and you know,
Playing.
playing. Don't forget to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think adults should play.
Yeah. I think
That's
we
all
lose
we're
that
doing.
after a certain time, after a certain point, don't we? We lose curiosity
100%.
and lose
Yeah.
playing.
Got the 9 to
Just let's get
5.
it back. Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
does your work keep you young?
Yeah, well, it's...
Keeps us playful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when we're just like spinning our toys for fun, it's just playing.
I mean, you're still pretty young, but like, you're going to be doing this in your 60s and stuff.
Yeah, I would love
Hopefully.
to. I would love to.
If our bodies agree.
Might not be spinning.
Hopefully.
Yeah, might not be gerbs.
Or
Might not be
having-
fireworks.
Fire
sorry.
for life.
We hope to have, like, you know, for Flux to be a big company, and we already have performers all over Australia that we send out to gigs and that represent us. So our goal is that when we're older and more tired, we want to do it as long as we can, but when we're older and more tired and not performing as much ourselves, we are training other people to continue doing what we are doing, and training and teaching other people fire and pyrotechnics eventually.
And maybe one day it'll become Flux and Sun.
That
You know what I mean?
was a Howard and Sons joke that
Yeah.
no one
Yeah,
will
yeah, yeah, yeah.
understand.
But yeah,
What was I saying?
the future.
the future.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
got it all
yeah.
mapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, training people to continue doing what we've been doing,
I should start teaching it in
and
schools.
mentoring in schools.
Yeah.
You want to be a pyrotechnician? You want to dance with fireworks when you grow up?
But
How
yeah.
many calls are you going to get from
After
parents?
school
Like,
camp.
yeah,
Yeah, all the
what did
parents
you
are
tell my kids?
Or
Don't
can I come?
You'd have to say, don't try this at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. No, well, look, I'm excited to see the things you've got coming up and the journey ahead of you. Thank you
Thanks so
much.
much for having us here, guys, and for
Yeah.
inviting us along.
No worries. Thank you to Marty and Catalog Music for letting us shoot here every week in this beautiful venue. Thanks to the listeners. Thank you, Raph.
Thanks,
You're a good
Luke.
one. Bye-bye now.
Good night.
Bye.